Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 157 of our trip around the United States. Today and tomorrow are two of the days I had been most excited about on this trip. Right now, we're shooting from in front of the Medicine Bluff aboard Fort Sill. And Fort Sill has always held a very special place in my heart. When I enlisted in the Marine Corps, my very first duty station was at 12th Marine Regiment in Okinawa, Japan. All of the Marines there were artillery Marines. They'd trained aboard Fort Sill, and though I myself was not an artilleryman, I definitely felt like I'd been aboard Fort Sill with them, with all of the stories that they shared and laughed about in the barracks. So it had always been on my to-do list for darn near the last 2 decades to be able to make a trip to Fort Sill and see this place to myself. And now that I'm here, I am not disappointed. While we've been standing here answering the earthcache and the virtual at this location, I've heard artillery rounds pounding down range, reverberating across the mountain wall, and it just gives my heart that little bit of oorah spirit I need to get my day going in earnest. Today is also my 30,000 milestone. I will have found 30,000 geocaches at the next geocache that I go visit. From here, we're going to be heading into the Wichita Mountain Wildlife Refuge. Everything out there is virtuals and earthcaches, and it looks like an amazing area to go hiking with a lot of amazing sights to see. We're going to do as much as we can with as much daylight as we have available. I am so excited to see all of the wonderful sights this area has to offer, and I am so excited to bring it to you. Come on, let's go check it out.
On our way out of Lawton up to Fort Sill, we first made a stop by the Museum of the Great Plains for the virtual outside. Opened in 1961, this museum grew out of the formation of the Comanche County Historical Society that began in 1952. It offers traditional exhibit presentations coupled with innovative discovery-based learning activities to continue the mission of exploring the human history of the Great Plains. Our stay was very brief, however, as the prairie dogs reminded us we had a lot to do today. Timing a significant geocaching milestone can be tricky business. We still had 2 finds to go to cover the gap. And we figured if we were only going to find a few physical geocaches this morning, they might as well be good ones. We added our names to the logbooks and stopped the clock at 29,999 before heading over to the east side of Fort Sill. Here, beneath Oklahoma skies, far from their native haunts in Arizona, New Mexico, and northern Mexico, is the resting place for more than 300 Apaches from 3 tribes. After the Geronimo campaign, these people, hostiles, friendly, and scouts alike, were spread between Florida and Alabama until they were brought to Fort Sill in 1894. This cemetery forever memorializes the perseverance of the Apache.
And there it is, find number 30,000. Geronimo's gravesite. Let's jump into the next 10,000 from here. Geronimo!
On the way into the Wichita Mountains, we first stopped into the small town of Medicine Park. This small resort town, hidden away at the edge of the mountains, features a population of only around 400. It has also been ranked in the top 10 of the prettiest towns in the U.S.
I would swear to you, not but 15 minutes ago, I was at the Great Plains Museum, and now I am here in a small mountain town. It doesn't even feel like I'm in the same state anymore, let alone just up the road.
Medicine Park began over 100 years ago in 1908 when it was founded as Oklahoma's first resort town. Its founder, John William Elmer Thomas, fell in love with every aspect of it, from the unique cobblestone deposits to the mountains and plains that surround the town, and even to the wilderness beyond the horizon. The cobblestones, also known as cannonballs, used in the construction of many of the buildings in the town, are a great example of the indigenous architecture of the western Red River Valley. The native rounds can be found in this area adorning everything from schoolhouses to homes, hotels, and even buildings within Fort Sill. Departing Medicine Park, we began our journey into the Wichita Mountains Wildlife Refuge, looming large above the prairies of southwest Oklahoma. In total, the refuge spans around 60,000 acres of mixed grass prairie, ancient granite mountains, and freshwater lakes and streams. The first part of our journey into the refuge brought us to Mount Scott, which stands above the plains at 2,464 feet. As mountain driving goes, it is a very enjoyable drive with a spiral that follows all the way around the edge of the mountain going up and up. At regular intervals, there are pull-offs so that you can stop and enjoy the view, and then it's back to climbing up the spiral loop around the mountain again. Each pull-off we stopped at provided an amazing view, and the pull-off after that even more so, but none could outdo the view from the top of the mountain. Simply breathtaking.
It's safe to say that this is the high point of a fantastic day out here at Wichita Mountain Wildlife Refuge. Just amazing.
Ascending the last couple of hundred feet to the highest part of the mountain, we located the benchmark disc directly underfoot. And while we could not log the disc itself, it was the feature point of 2 virtuals. While many of the listings here brought us to grand spots, still others brought us to tiny little treasures we've never discovered without the geocache to guide the way.
I didn't see this one until I was almost practically right on top of it. And now I find myself asking, why? Why does this little door in this little tiny cave exist? For what purpose does it serve?
Then our journey brought us into what was arguably the strangest part of our day, the parallel forest. Originally built by the federal government as an experiment to deal with the effects of the Dust Bowl, over 20,000 red cedars have been planted here through 16 acres, exactly 6 feet apart.
Well, it is certainly not difficult to see why this is called the parallel forest. I've seen scary movies that start in places just like this.
And it is far from the uniform look of the trees planted through this forest that gives you the pervasive sense that it's haunted. For me, it was the dead quiet that brought it home. There was no sounds of birds chirping or insects buzzing, just the sound of Aichan's paws and my feet stepping through the leaves. If you are brave enough to make your way to the center of the forest, you will find a rock formation rumored to be a satanic altar. While I can neither confirm or deny any such rumors, what I can tell you that as soon as I turned around to leave the trails, the dog made a run for the car all the way through the forest. Upon departing the seemingly haunted parallel forest, we found ourselves on the complete opposite end of the spectrum at the Holy City. Here we found ourselves under the light of day again on a 66-acre area that looks much like Israel did during biblical times. Following the path of the Veterans Walkway immediately to the left of the entrance gate, we found ourselves in front of the memorial for the victims of the Oklahoma City bombing. Then we were off to the far west end of the Holy City to visit Noah's Ark, the virtual that had brought us here before exploring the city itself. In your exploration of the Holy City, you can visit numerous full-size buildings and structures, including the Temple Court, the Lord's Supper Building, Herod's Court, and the Judgment Hall, all built with locally quarried granite in the 1930s. All of the remaining listings we would visit from there proved to be quite the adventure, starting with the Lake Jed Johnson Dam. Looking over the dam from parking was the first time we realized that the answers we needed were on the other side. Aichan gave me one look to let me know she thought I was crazy before pulling up a good seat to watch me make my way across the dam in pursuit of the answers needed for the virtual. Things only seemed to get dicier from there as we made our way over to the shores of the Lost Lake. From the parking area, we followed the kite trail around the edge of the lake until we spotted the next dam and once again realized we would need to be on the other side to get the answers to the virtual.
And I thought the last dam was an adventure. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We're gonna make it to the other side of this thing.
Once again, the dog took one look at what I was intending to do and told me she wanted no part of it. She found herself a comfortable seat to enjoy the show while I made my way steadily across the dam. For the most part, it was an easy crossing, but the center part where all of the water is overflowing is wet and slick with mud. Successfully clearing that obstacle, I was finally able to take a breath of relief when my feet met the rocks on the opposite side of the dam. Once again, Aichan just shook her head, letting me know she thinks humans are weird. For our final adventure of the day, under the light of the setting sun, we ascended to the top of Little Baldy. Starting from within the Doris campground, we followed a well-manicured trail directly south through a beautiful trail until we reached a metal bridge. Looking off to the east from the side of the bridge, you will have a fantastic view of the Quanah Parker Lake and the Quanah Parker Dam. And once you make it to the other side, the beautiful forest trail begins to quickly transition into the rocky slopes of Little Baldy. Seeing what was coming up ahead, this is the first time on the trail that Ai-chan began to give me the "you're crazy" look, but she stuck with me even as we hit these rocky slopes. For the most part, she was able to traverse the terrain on her own, although at some points I did have to lift her onto high rises to continue the journey up. Together, as a team, we steadily made our way to the top until, upon reaching the summit, we were able to appreciate this amazing view of the Wichita Mountains National Wildlife Refuge spread out below us.
Wow. Just wow. I don't even know what else to say about today. It was just as amazing as I thought it would be, and yet so much more. Coming out here to the Wichita Mountain Wildlife Refuge was an incredible day. This entire place is filled with virtuals and earth caches, mostly virtuals, that all bring you to really fascinating and amazing spots. Between the parallel forest, Noah's Ark at the Holy City, coming up here to the top of Little Baldy, and all the other little treasures we got to see along the way. Today is probably going to be one of my favorite days of this entire trip. And if you have not already done so, you need to take a pin and put it on your map. Just there, right above the northwest corner of Fort Sill, because this is a place that you want to come visit. Timing-wise, we made it right about halfway through our list. We have another half of virtuals and earth caches to go tomorrow, but we took on the easier half today. Tomorrow's list has a lot more hiking involved in those virtuals, so based on the time it took us to complete the listings today, we are not going to have time to complete it all tomorrow. I sincerely hope you guys have enjoyed seeing all of the amazing sights out here as much as we enjoyed bringing them to you. It really was an incredible day to be out here in Oklahoma. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.